Good afternoon, Grizzly Nation. On behalf of the Wadsworth Youth Football Board of Directors, Wadsworth Youth Football Scholarship Dinner, and the Wadsworth Football Program as a whole, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Realize that there's been some rumors swirling around about what's taking place within our youth football organization. And my objective today is to give you some insight as to what's taking place, the changes that we're making, why we're making them, and then also give you an opportunity to ask questions. And then we're actually going to have an in-person meeting where we can discuss some of the changes that we're planning to make. So again, I appreciate your time. I'm going to try to go through this as quickly and concisely as possible for time. And again, we appreciate that you're going to be willing to watch this and the support that you give for our organization. All right, so right off the bat, some important notes to consider. Number one, I know that there's been some rumors going around that we're taking away tackle football, and I want to assure you that that is the furthest thing from the truth. We understand as an organization that football is a collision-based violent sport, and tackling, the fundamentals of tackling, blocking, block destruction, are so valuable to the game of football. And as the varsity football coach, I can tell you that that the last thing in the world that I would want to do is take away those base fundamentals that football is built upon. So what we want to do, though, and what we're always striving to do, is to find a better way, to find a better model, to find a way that enables our program now and in the future to succeed. Okay. I think as an organization, we pride ourselves on staying ahead of the curve, and I'm going to explain some of the things that we've done in the past. But we are always looking and striving to enhance the experience of our players to make sure that their time within our program is the best that we could provide. I want you to know that any decision that I would ever make, or that we as the board would ever make for our organization, it's something that is researched. Nothing is done impulsively. All right, these are going to, like, the things that we want to do for our program: researched, tested, verified. We would never make an impulsive decision that would affect our organization. And so finally, I'm going to ask that you trust a little bit. All right, I'm asking that you trust me when I tell you there's nothing more important than the future of our program, personally. All right, I believe that the time that our organization, that our high school coaches, our middle school coaches, the youth board, the time that we put in should give some credence to the fact that I'm telling you that there's nobody in this town that believes more in the present and the future than myself. And I'm thankful to be supported by our youth football board, our coaches at the middle school and the high school level, because anything that we do, it's done to elevate our program to another level. All right, so a little bit of background. 2017, we started the Spring Flag Football League, and to be honest with you, that was met with a lot of kind of pushback. And I had saw that Mentor High School, which at that time was a Northeast Ohio and a state power, they had been conducting spring flag football for their athletes for a number of years. And I thought, if it's good enough for them, certainly can be good enough for us. And again, it was met with some resistance. However, it turned out to be something that was phenomenal for our community and our kids. And it's being played to this day at a really high level in our town. Our senior class that just got done completing their senior year of football will graduate here in the spring. They were the first group as sixth graders to have that experience. And many of them will tell you what a great experience it was for them. And I got to really know more of the players on a deeper level, personally and athletically during that time. In 2018 and 2019, we started a padded flag and a rookie tackle team, and we took those kids to the Lake Erie League, which is up by Lake Erie, obviously. And our kids competed in both the padded flag division and the rookie tackle division. It's full padded, full contact, just a little bit of modification. We had to travel and play schools like Amherst and Midview. One of the things that I noticed was that it was a very skilled based league. I would come back and I'd watch our 11-on-11 youth teams, and it was what you would typically see. However, when I would watch the padded flag and the rookie tackle, it was very, very skill based. There was a lot of throwing, a lot of sweeps. Defensively, it was more, the game was played more in space, very comparable to what you'd see at most high school, all college and all NFL games. So we did that 2018, 2019, had a lot of success with it. In 2020, the global pandemic took place. So the Lake Erie League and the current 11-on-11 tackle team that we were in the Gridiron League, they shut down football in the fall. Wadsworth, myself, and the youth board, we decided we wanted to make sure that we gave our kids an opportunity to play football that fall. So we then took the padded flag and the rookie tackle model and created an in-house league. From my perspective, as the high school football coach and what I enjoy seeing from youth kids, it was the best youth football I've ever witnessed from a skill perspective. What do I mean by that? Well, there was a significant amount of screens, of passing the ball, both intermediate and down the field. The game was played more in space. Again, what I would tell you is that it looked very similar to what you would see on a Friday night down at Artwright Stadium, or what you would see on any Saturday or Sunday when watching higher levels of football. Okay. And the class of 2027, which is our current freshmen to be sophomores, when they were fifth graders, they played 11-on-11 in the Gridiron League. And not only did they not win a game, they barely scored a point. All right. It wasn't a good experience for them. So their sixth grade experience was the in-house rookie tackle. That spring, we had the opportunity to take that group, form an 11-on-11 team, and play in a league up at the Lake Erie League. They decided to collaborate and have an 11-on-11 to give their sixth graders an opportunity. And I took those kids up there. I coached the team along with a few other players, and it was one of the best experiences we'd had. So we took the 8-on-8 model and just added a little bit more, and those kids went up there and experienced a great amount of success. While I can't directly correlate the success that this group has had since that point, what I can tell you is that many of them will tell you that the Lake Erie League, the 11-on-11 that we played, but more importantly, the fall rookie tackle was their best youth experience. Last year, as freshmen, they were Suburban League co-champs. All right, so they went from fifth grade not winning a game to ninth grade being Suburban League co-champs. And again, so I know that there is some correlation. It might not all be related to that, but there's without question some connection between the pieces that we were able to give them at the end of their youth experience. In 2022, the current 11-on-11 tackle league that we are a part of, the Gridiron League, they developed third grade 9-on-9. All right. What I'm telling you is that the change is coming, and I've been preaching that since I've been involved in our youth organization when I arrived here in 2016. Change in youth football is coming, and you can see that in some of the states in the United States, in some of the legislation that they are presenting to Congress, where they're saying they're almost trying to outlaw youth football. And while I don't believe that'll ever happen, I'm here to tell you that there is change coming to youth football. And again, as an organization that wants to be on the forefront of things, I believe that we're doing the right things by our program. So I've got a couple of the state powers. So the Avon Eagles, Coach Mike Elder is a friend of mine. He introduced this progressive model of football to his youth organization over a decade ago. And since then, their numbers have went through the roof. Obviously, they're a team that's consistently in the regional championship, the Final Four. They've got 110 players, grades 10 through 12. They constantly have multiple middle school teams, multiple freshman teams. They play multiple. They just have a lot of players, and they've really developed an incredible model of youth football. As I told you earlier, I got the the spring flag football from Coach Mike Trevisano, who's now retired. He was the architect of the Menor Cardinals' destiny, of their dynasty. St. Ignatius Wildcat retired coach, legend Chuck Kyle, is really big on the USA Football progressive model. And then the Maslin Perry, they've had tremendous success throughout the 2000s. And their former coach, they also do this progressive model. And again, we'll talk a little bit more about that when as we move forward here. So a couple things to take note of. Number one, I've always believed that there should be a progressive model of football. All right. If you look at every other sport that's being played, there's progression. So what do I mean by that? Well, let's take lacrosse, for example, a new and developing sport in Northeast Ohio. Less players on the field when they're young, smaller field, bigger goals, okay? And then they move to a larger field, few more players, smaller goals to what you would see at the high school level, all right? Baseball, there's T-ball, then there's coach pitch, then there's kid pitch. Obviously, the bases are shorter. as they move along. Let's talk about basketball. There's shorter hoops, there's half court defense, or there's even like, inside the 3-point line defense. Then it's half court defense, then it's full court defense. Eventually, the hoops raise up. So there's progression in every sport. Well, let's look at football. Outside of the size of football, kids start immediately into 11 on 11, a 100-yard field, 53 1/3 yards wide. While the schematical part looks completely different, it's not because there's rule changes. It's simply because kids at that age and trying to get 11 kids to work in unison just really is difficult. All right. Developing fundamentals is really difficult to perform the proper fundamentals needed at the high school level and beyond without a progressive model. Program cohesion. Our middle school runs a very, very similar version of the offense and the defense that you see our high school run. That can't take place, though, at the youth level. It's extremely hard to do some of the things that I would love to see our youth kids do to create this cohesive model. And they just simply aren't able to perform it because of I would say, some of the restrictions that the 11 on 11 full tackle model creates. Coaching enhancement. So we're very fortunate at our high school and our middle school level. We have a significant amount of coaches. What that enables us to do is it enables us to give more one-on-one instruction. It'd be no different than what you would want in the classroom for your kids. You want smaller classroom models with more teachers. That way your kid can get more one-on-one. That's really, really difficult to do at the youth level with our current setup. And then again, it kind of goes back to this trust factor. What is best for Wadsworth, for the present and the future of our program? And again, I can stand here and tell you there is not a person in this town that is more invested in the future and the present of our program than me. So let's talk about our model for success. All right, the 2024 and beyond football model for success. Number one, right off the bat, our sixth graders, our current fifth graders to be sixth graders. All right. 11 on 11, travel tackle football. All right. So full contact tackle football in the current Gridiron League. That's the association that we're a part of, utilizing the rules dictated by their league board of directors. Wadsworth is going to travel, host games, continue playing for playoffs and league championships. At the end of the year, we'll look at forming a tournament team or teams based on our number to compete with schools across the state of Ohio. Okay, we've done this the last couple of years. It's been a great experience for our kids. New this season, parents of players entering the fifth grade, so the current fourth graders to be fifth graders who are going to be in fifth grade for the 24-25 school year, you can petition the Wadsworth Youth Football Board of Directors, which I'm a part of, to elevate your child to the sixth grade 11 on 11 travel tackle teams. We're going to look at every kid at an individual basis. And the number one thing that I will look at is safety. Okay. If I personally do not believe that your child is ready for 11 on 11 tackle, I will have that discussion with you. Okay. While you know your child better than I ever will, I would ask that you trust that the development in football, this is what I do for a living. I would ask that you trust me. If I believe that your child could experience more success somewhere else or at another level, I'll give you full rationale. And we may not agree on it, but anything that I would do would be for the best interest of your child and our organization moving forward. Okay, so where does the change happen? The change happens at the fifth grade and below. All right, and again, I want to reiterate, and I really want to highlight this full contact rookie tackle. Full contact being the key word here. It's created using the USA football model for youth player development. All right. Little description there. It's the final step in the progression towards 11 on 11 tackle football. Please note, players will be in full uniform. It's full contact with tackling to the ground. There's some modifications. Players are going to block. They're going to block destruct. They're going to tackle. They're going to break tackles. They're going to use all the football moves that you would find in an 11 on 11 tackle football game. This model is for players entering next year, the 24-25 school year, fourth grade and fifth grade. Now, remember, fifth graders, you can petition to go to the 11 on 11 tackle. The kids that are going to be fourth grade, they just got done playing a modified form of football. There won't be that much change for them. This is 8 on 8 full contact tackle football run by the directors of Wadsworth Youth Football. All games will be played in Wadsworth. All right. So down at Summit Toyota Youth Field and Artwright Stadium, we're going to create different teams that will play one another. The teams are going to be created using the Wadsworth Youth Football Board's evaluation system. And what we want to do is we want to ensure competitive play and increased opportunities for the players. So what's this look like? Here's going to be the noticeable changes for our rookie contact model. Again, please understand, full contact, tackle to the ground, rookie tackle. The field dimensions are going to be modified slightly. A regular high school field, middle school field, 100 yards long. This one will be 70 yards long. A regular high school football field is 53 and a third yards wide. This one's going to be 35 and a third yards wide. So sideline to the far hash, okay? There's going to be 3 offensive linemen compared to 5. Am I saying that offensive linemen aren't important? I'm saying they're more important. One of the most difficult things to do at the high school level, the college, the football level, is to get all 5 offensive linemen working in unison. It's the biggest challenge that coaches face. Offensive line is extremely difficult to coach, all right? By reducing the number of offensive linemen on the field, we aren't diminishing their role. We're increasing their role because we believe that to teach an offensive line coach how to properly coach that group and then give those 3 players individualized instruction, we believe that in the present and the future that our offensive linemen will be better prepared to run the schemes that we run at the middle school and the high school level, all right, than ever before. Okay, 5 skill players compared to 6. We're simply going to remove 1 skill player. Now, there's 2 defensive linemen. If the offense adds a tight end, and this is getting a little bit more in depth than I plan to, and we'll go over this at the in-person meeting. 2 defensive linemen, but you could always add a third if the offense brings another one on. And then 6 defensive skill players that are deployed, at linebackers and defensive backs. All right. So some adjustments. All right. So please listen to this. Players in 3rd grade that are to be 3rd graders, you can petition the board of directors to participate in our rookie tackle league. So if you're somebody that believes that your son or daughter is ready to move on to tackle to the ground and your kid's going to be in 3rd grade, you can petition us and say, hey, I would like my kid to participate in rookie tackle. All right. We'll look at each case. We'll make the decision based upon the safety of the child, the program numbers, the competitiveness of the league. All right. But we will absolutely look at that. Players in 4th grade, kids that are going to be moving into the 4th grade level. You can petition the board to move back down to our padded flag league, which I'll talk about shortly, all right, which is full contact, okay? So again, we'll discuss some of those things. And just a reminder, players in 5th grade, if your parents believe that you're ready for 11-on-11 tackle football, all right, you can petition the board, and I know that says rookie tackle. You can petition the board to participate in our full contact 11-on-11 tackle team. Okay. A couple things that we're going to do. Most important, I believe that this is going to be the best youth football that we've seen. And there's some things that I'll discuss as we move forward. At the end of the year, we're going to take those 8-on-8 teams and we're going to formulate 11-on-11 tournament teams. Those kids will have developed better from a skill and a line perspective with smaller numbers, and then we're going to combine them into an 11-on-11 tournament team. We're going to look at 4th grade teams, 5th grade teams. They're going to be formed at the season's end, and the same tournaments that we've taken our teams to compete in with the 6th graders, we're going to do the same thing with those younger levels. All right, that way they have an opportunity to bring their skills together and go play. All right, so the next progression in the step towards 11-on-11 tackle football is our modified contact padded flag. So how is it modified? We're not tackling to the ground. There is blocking, there's block destruction, there's football moves, all of those things. We are simply going to take away tackling to the ground. At the youth level, it is a proven fact the highest majority of head injuries take place when a kid, because of their strength of their neck and the weight of the helmet, the highest number of head injuries occur when a kid's head falls after, he's being tackled, he doesn't yet have the neck strength to control the head, and the head bounces off the ground. It's indisputable. That is where the majority of head injuries occur. Okay. We're going to take that out of the game. All right. Do kids fall down? They do. All right. It no different than they would if they were playing football in the backyard. But what we're going to do is we are going to take away the tackling component of it, where kids get injured both tackling and receiving the tackle. We're going to pull flags. And again, we've got a really cool model of how that's going to take place. The exact same rules that they will utilize, the field dimensions will be very similar, but the same rules that are conducted in the 11-on-11 or the 8-on-8 full contact rookie tackle league will be applied to our modified contact. And the only modification is tackling to the ground, padded flag league. All right. This is going to be for players entering the second and the third grade next year. So current first, current second graders. All right. Going to be in-house. The board is going to create the teams to make sure that we have competitive teams and increased opportunities for our players to play. All right. Some changes. The field will only be 45 yards long as opposed to a 100-yard field or the 70-yard field that you're going to find at the rookie tackle model. All right. Going to be the same width, 35 1/3 yards. Again, we're going to have 3 offensive linemen compared to 5 for the same rationale that I explained earlier, and then 5 skill players as opposed to 6, and then the defense will line up in a very similar fashion. Okay. Players in first grade, you can petition the board of directors. So if parents believe that their kid is ready for the modified contact and you want to move up to a padded flag, you can petition the board, and we'll look into that on an individual basis. Players in second grade, if you are not ready for your child to be involved in basically a full contact padded flag, you can petition to have your son or daughter move down to our no contact flag league, and we will almost always we will comply with that. If you'd like to move your child down, we will allow that to take place. All right. So finally, here are a few links for videos on the rookie tackle model. All right. The first 3 are what the game looks like and with some rationale and explanation. All right. The fourth link, again, this has been developed between the Browns Youth Football Organization and the development of USA Football Model. It'll talk about some of the teams or the current leagues that employ this modified progressive tackle. All right. And then finally, it's going to be Wednesday, February 14th, okay, at the high school. I'm going to hold an open forum for people to come in, and I'm going to give very, very specific details as to what this modification looks like. All right. I'll explain what the offense looks like. I'll explain what the defense looks like. I'll explain what our practice structure, which I'm going to be heavily involved, myself and our varsity staff is going to be very involved in developing the practice structure of this, what the playbooks are going to look like. I'd ask that, anybody can come in. I'm going to record that meeting. All right. If you are unable to be there, all right, Wednesday at 6:30 on February 14th, if you're unable to be there, please email me directly. There's my email address. Any questions that you want answered, if you can't be present for that, I promise you there's going to be a Q&A, and I will answer every question. And again, another video will be sent out to the community where I'm explaining the rationale and the things that we're going to do, as well as the Q&A part. Your question will be answered. Okay. And I'm assuming if you have the question, other people do as well. Okay. Again, I believe wholeheartedly, and most of you know, obviously I have a son in middle school and a daughter that's getting ready to be in middle school, but I also have a 2-year-old. So someday he's going to be coming through Wadsworth Youth Football. And please trust me that there's not a person in this community that cares more about the present and the future of the Wadsworth football program than me. Okay. And I wouldn't ever make a decision that hadn't been researched, tested, and supported by our board. Our board now sees the rationale of why this is so vital for our organization. Okay. So again, I appreciate your time. I know that this was long-winded, but I wanted to be very detailed in what we shared as an organization. And feel free to reach out to me at any time with questions or comments. I truly believe that this is going to be beneficial for the present and the future of our program. I've witnessed it at other schools. There's testimony from other schools. And again, this is going to be great for our football program, our football organization. Any questions that you have, please email me directly, jtodd@wadsworthschools.org. Appreciate your time. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.